Hi, I'm Lydia and I'm Film Probe, and this is my experience at the Cine International Film Festival in London. This was my first experience at a film festival as press. So I was invited to the festival to go watch the features, review them, and make some content. So it was really exciting. And I wanted to share with you everything that I watched day 3, so my final day at the festival. So day 3 started the same as the other days with a selection of roughly 8 to 10 short films back to back. Like I've said in my other videos, very intense, very quick, throwing you into the next short film, which I secretly absolutely loved. Here are each of the short films I watched day 3 at SIFF. So firstly, we started with a film called The Heart of Texas. I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. It was a really strong start to the day. It was directed by Gregory Kusanich, and it tells the story of Janie May, who, can I just say, was performed brilliantly by her actress. And she's an aspiring country singer, but she's stuck in her small town in Texas. So she enters this competition on her local radio, and when she becomes a finalist and she is on her way there, something gets in the way of her dream. I won't say what, because I'd really love you to go away and watch The Heart of Texas. It was a very brilliant piece. It was a commentary on a load of themes, underlying layers of kind of culture and humanity and relationships and providing for your family. Also the idea of race and American culture, American politics. It was very interesting, and I thought it was very powerful. The next short film was called Paradise. I gave this 2 out of 5 stars. Just because I'm more of a story driven girl, and this short film was very much a sequence of images and it felt like an art piece rather than a short film, and it was still beautiful. It was directed by Child. It serves as a visual and musical tribute to LA. So if you love LA, which I do personally, I'm very familiar with LA, I've been there in the past, I love it there. This short did resonate with me in its representation of Los Angeles, which I love. The film integrates ordinary scenes of the city with artistic elements, showcasing LA through the eyes of 2 young girls who were actually the director's nieces. So the film was very unique and distinct and visually memorable. I only gave it 2 out of 5 stars because it didn't necessarily have a solid story or through line or character arc. Like I said, it was a combination of visuals of the city and art. Very cool though, very cool. The next short film was called An Old Friend. I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. It was directed by Nuk Sawancho, the story of an imaginary friend who finds out that his sole purpose is to bring happiness to his child, only to discover that his child is now a 90-year-old man who's dying. So this one got me. This one got me in the feels. I almost got upset by it because it was a really beautiful story. The imaginary friend is bringing joy and comfort to this man before he passes away. It was very deep, meaningful. It had some really cute elements of animation, like you could see other people's imaginary friends, and it was a very sweet film. It made me think that movie Ryan Reynolds made a few years ago called If, like, totally stole it from this short film, because I was watching it and I was like, imaginary friend, I feel like someone's stolen this, because it felt like such a unique story. But I loved the element of it wasn't about a child, it was about an older person who needed that comfort, who needed that friendship from somebody from their childhood. Very, very cute and heartwarming, and I think if it caught you in the wrong mood, it caught you when you were a bit sad, this one would probably make you cry because it was very sweet. The next film was called Solace Unite. I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. It was directed by Sarah Harrick. It was essentially Bend It Like Beckham, but a short film. So if you love Bend It Like Beckham, you'll love this short film. I thought it was really funny and well performed, and it tells the story of female football team Solace Unite. And as the team are facing a potential eviction, they bring in a new player. The new striker that they bring in, called Sal's, who is an attractive girl who kind of gets all the teammates, looking at her. She starts causing issues between the other girls, especially Nellie and Bills. 2 characters who are best friends, but one may have feelings for the other. It basically forces these girls to come to terms with their feelings for one another, and It was lighthearted, funny, charming, charismatic. Like I said, it was like Bend It Like Beckham, but a new modern contemporary version of that film, all condensed into a short runtime. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I liked it. The next film I watched was called The Creature of Love. I rated this one 2 out of 5 stars. This was directed by Evelyn Wadsworth. It tells the story of Greta, who is working on a project to bring her dead husband's corpse back to life. So you can tell by the title, The Creature of Love. It's a play on Universal monsters, monster movies, Hammer movies, that kind of thing. So when I saw the poster for this one, I was very excited because I saw The Creature of Love and I could instantly tell it was in black and white that it was going to be an homage or a love letter to classic monster movies. As Greta's making this Frankenstein version of her husband, she realizes that the parts she's working with are not fresh enough. So she hires a local mortician to bring her body parts. Pretty morbid, but when you think about monster movies, this is like a done deal. It's that kind of creepy, morbid storyline. The performances were great in this film. The only reason I rated it 2 out of 5 stars was because it felt a lot more low budget than the other films in the category. And not to say that low budget's bad, but I later found out that it was a student project, and that just made sense. There is nothing wrong with student projects. Sometimes they're the best short films you'll ever see. I felt like there was something missing from this film. It had like a few gory elements that made people cringe in the cinema, which I liked, and it was memorable for sure. It just didn't quite draw me in like I was expecting it to from the poster. But maybe that's just me. Maybe because I'm a mega monster fan, I was expecting more, or maybe I sound too harsh of a critic. I don't know. But The Creature of Love was very interesting, and I think with time that could be turned into something really powerful. But at the moment, it wasn't quite the level I was expecting it to be. The next film was called Twain, and this was directed by Pip. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. It tells the story of a young man who confronts his incarcerated twin brother, unearthing secrets from their childhood and their past together. It's confined into a prison cell, like a visiting room, where the brothers are talking to one another and dredging up their past. Very powerful. I'll talk more on that one in a minute, because I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, so it's obvious that it was one of my favorites. The next film was called Marion. This was directed by Joe Wayland and Finn Constantine. I gave this 2 out of 5 stars. So this film told the story of Marion, who is one of the only female bullfighters in France, as she prepares for one of her performances in this absolutely packed arena. I gave that film 2 out of 5 stars purely because I don't really like the sport itself. The film was very interesting, also weirdly empowering. Like, she's the only woman doing this, and she was, had an accident. You watch her make a mistake and this ball charges at her. It was very powerful and memorable. I just don't like the sport. So I know that it's a bit of a shitty review, but I just don't like it. So I couldn't rate it higher than 2. But the female herself, Marion herself, very empowering, very strong. Yeah, what a woman. What a woman. The last film of day 3 was called Sister Wives, and this was directed by Louisa Connolly Berman. Now, this is about 2 sister wives who are married to the same man and start to develop feelings for one another. That is a very brief outline. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, so I am going to tell you more about it because I loved it. Like I said in my day 2 video, it was really easy for me to pick my favorites from day 3 of SIFF. I was utterly blown away by both Sister Wives and Twain. The general execution of both of these shorts was magnificent. I was in awe of the world that was created for both films, like through the physical set, through the character development, and through the poetic writing. I loved both. I gave both 5 out of 5 stars. They were easily the strongest of the whole festival. To start with, Sister Wives is an example of endless possibilities of short filmmaking, the potential of short films, and the utter beauty that can be brought to screen in a number of minutes. Like, these short films are, sometimes a max of 20 minutes. Like, that's not long. That's such a short amount of time. You can disassociate and scroll on your phone for 20 minutes. Instead, you should be watching short films, okay? Stop scrolling on your phone. Don't worry, I'm not judging you. I do it too, but just watch a short film instead. It'll bring you so much more emotionally, and it'll impact you if you watch a good one. Watch one of these two. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Sister Wives is effortlessly memorable. It was utterly heartfelt. Sister Wives explores truth, being open, and following your heart. I was taken by the film's originality, really. The concept and the plot was something fresh for me to experience. I was gripped onto every single word and empowered by the pure beauty of it all, if I'm honest. I highly recommend Sister Wives. It's a short film for anyone wanting to watch something a bit more thought provoking and moving. This is the one you should watch. I should give you a bit more of the plot before I move on. You meet this one woman who's married. They're living in kind of Amish country, modern times. He comes home one day and says, I'm going to marry another wife, and you're going to live with her, and you're going to nurture her, and you're going to teach her the ropes. She has nothing to say. She cannot do anything about this. So he marries another woman. They are then the three living under this one household. And when the husband needs to go away on business, the two wives are left home alone. And they just form this really beautiful relationship with one another. At first, they just rely on each other and look after one another. And then you realize it's something more than that. And I felt like the depiction of their relationship over the time frame was so believable and felt so realistic. I really loved this short. I really hope that the director is able to expand on this. Not that I necessarily think this needs to be a full feature, but if it was, it would be incredible. I loved this short. I really did. And finally, my other top of the day was, top of the whole festival, was Twain. Now, this is a heavy story with themes of domestic abuse, of deep tragedy, woven into both characters and their identities. So the brothers are bonded to one another through trauma, but above all else, they're protective and loyal to one another. But not only was this short film beautifully shot, but it was performed faultlessly. It was isolating to watch the brothers' conflict and conversation really slowly unfold. So the main actor, Hardwick, was absolutely brilliant. Faultless, even. Like, faultless. It's hard to make distinct differences when you're playing both characters. So he was playing both brothers, acting alongside himself, and it's really hard to make those very clear distinctions, but he did it. His small mannerisms and ever so slight differences between the brothers was so powerful. At some points, I kind of forgot it was one person. I did think, shit, he's so good. Like, it's one person. It's brilliant. I think I was in awe of the pure believability in such a short amount of time as well. Like I just said about Sister Wives, to have that much of an impact in such a small amount of time. I'm always fascinated by directors and filmmakers who are able to do that. The film started with apprehension. Like, you didn't really know what you were getting into. The color palettes were very dull and grey, and you were apprehensive. You didn't know what this brother had done. Why is he in prison? What happened? And then the film leaves you with like utter surprise. The ending is such a surprise, and it's poignant and so like thought-provoking. Twain is such a short to watch, and so is the director and the writer Pip. He was really brilliant, and I loved this. This was like his debut, because he's a photographer, and it was his proper debut making a short film, and it's so strong. I really hope, and I have no doubt, that this will be a stepping stone to something bigger for him, and I'm just excited to see what he does next. I hope for more enigmatic storytelling and somber character journeys and muted color tones. I'd love to work with him because I think he's really cool. So after all the panels, the last film of the festival that I got to watch was Julian Temple's London, the Modern Babylon. This is basically a film, a time-traveling love letter to London. And actually, after we watched the film, it was followed by a Q&A with Julian Temple, which was super, super cool. I got to experience this film for the first time at this festival. I'd never seen London, the Modern Babylon. It was actually commissioned for the London Olympics in 2012, which I didn't know. It was very insightful, eye-opening. It was a documentary that just takes you through the history of London. And if you're somebody who loves London, which I do, it was really interesting to see all these different layers of the city and how it's evolved and changed over time. It was the good, the bad, the ugly, no stone was left unturned, and it was all thrown onto the screen to give you this really meaningful, educational, powerful look at the city of London. I loved it. It moved me. it really did. I got a tear in my eye at one point, and I love how it just, like I said, it didn't leave any stone unturned. It showed you the good and the bad of London and its past. And I thought it was a very brilliant documentary. And I'd recommend it to anyone who's been to London, who loves London, who lives in London. Very strong, very memorable, epic. And Julian Temple is like the coolest guy I've ever seen in my life. He was just so cool, cool, calm, collected, like edgy as hell, just such a punk. I loved him. What I took away the most with London, the Modern Babylon, was the music. I absolutely loved the sense of storytelling alongside the music. And Julian Temple is a visionary when it comes to music in his films, because he harnesses his love for art and people and culture in every single part of the city, in every single frame. And I really enjoyed their film. It was a great way to end the festival. Overall, my experience at the Cine International Film Festival, or CIFF, was fresh. It was fresh and new and raw and exciting. It was a festival made by filmmakers for filmmakers and for people who love cinema, celebrating stories beyond borders, sparking creativity, collaboration. It just marks this new era for independent cinema and independent film festivals, which gets me really excited. I had the best time. I absolutely loved curating my own film knowledge, learning more about short cinema, independent cinema, just meeting like-minded people and being able to be there as Film Probe was so special for me. I hope the festival has a very long and impactful future ahead of it. I have no doubt that it will. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. I hope I've inspired you to go watch something. So yeah, see you in the next one.